Colleagues, after more than 3 decades of dedicated and continuous fight for women's rights by European women, we are on the brink of achieving a new milestone in the history of women in Europe. The journey has been challenging, but every moment of anger and every tear shed along the way have been worthwhile. While the negotiation process has taken over 2 years, the battle for our rights and demands has been ongoing for much, much longer. The pleas from women and girls resonate throughout our union, spanning all our member states and reaching across the globe. Though their voices may vary, their message remains consistent, a call for freedom, safety, security and the protection of women's human rights. No corner in our society is immune to the threat of gender-based violence, whether it is in homes, school, workplaces, public squares, streets or online platforms. Women and girls are continually subjected to violence and abuse at the hands of men. It has occurred throughout history and in all parts of society, whether during time of war or during time of peace. Close to 1 out of every 3 women have experienced physical and or sexual violence since the age of 15. Approximately 5% of women in EU countries have been raped since the age of 15. Shockingly, only 0.5% of rapes result in convictions. This is unacceptable. We must put an end to this impunity. Globally, intimate partners are responsible for up to 38% of all murders of women. Between 45% and 55% of women in the EU have encountered sexual harassment since the age of 15. However, this issue extends beyond personal relationships and infiltrates various settings, including online platforms. Online violence against women and girls has surged in recent years, presenting significant threats to their safety and well-being. For example, 73% of female journalists have faced online violence in the course of their work. As I eagerly anticipate to finally being able to transitioning from words to action to save the lives of women and girls, I am also disheartened by certain leaders in some of our member states, particularly the trio of men who hindered the inclusion of legislation based on consent to address rape. The actions of the Liberal President Macron in France, the Liberal Minister of Justice Buschmann in Germany, who disregarded the pleas of his ministerial counterparts from the Social Democratic Party and the Green Party to incorporate legislation based on consent to address rape. And the Prime Minister, the illiberal Prime Minister Viktor Orbán of Hungary, are deeply disappointing. Your betrayal and obstruction of the opportunity to implement consent-based legislation will not be overlooked and will not be forgotten. Nevertheless, despite the resistance from these 3 individuals and others, we succeeded in incorporating for the first time in EU legislation the requirement for member states to promote a culture based on consent in sexual relationships to define non-consensual sex as criminal offence. While this may not seem groundbreaking at first glance, the challenges faced during negotiations have revealed its truly strong and revolutionary nature. Colleagues, let's pay attention to the request of the various European and national women's organisations. It's time to finalise through adopting the agreement and embrace this historical and groundbreaking first directive aimed at in comprehensive way combating violence against women and domestic violence. At this point, any indecision would be a betrayal of the collective efforts, aspirations and dedications of generations of women and girls. Remember, the rights of women and girls are human rights. Let's now go from words to actions for a more secure Europe for women and girls, for a feminist Europe.